I used to go to Old Orchard Beach when I was a kid up in Maine.
Maine is beautiful. Beautiful state. Beautiful
I don't know
beaches.
what it looks like today, but at the time there was like a boardwalk and it was...
Carney should start saying, hey, Maine should be a province.
He should.
There's a lot of reports that, like, at least from Canada. I mean, Canada has a special reason to be...
They're pissed at us.
Pissed at the U.S. But understand that after Canada, and we had... England was giving a travel advisory to people coming to the States. All throughout Europe, we're going to see tourism take a nosedive.
Detox the economy.
And but here it's hitting folks in Maine right now. And I think Trump got, 45% vote, more or less, in Maine? Some of these maniacs are probably feeling this was probably a mistake.
Well, you know who's up for re-election in 2026?
Susan Collins.
I know we've been down this road before, but maybe.
This has been a family business for 50 years.
And I'm your boy J Cal.
How the Canadians perceive this.
Or can we start over? Yeah.
And they are incredible. This has been a family business for 50 years. You got to take into the fact how the Canadians perceive this, and they are incredibly pissed off.
We met Sterling Morse in Old Orchard Beach, Maine. He owns the Point of View Inn, which is only about 150 miles from the Canadian border.
We have been here.
He says the majority of his regular customers are French Canadians.
Very traditional people, families that take the same room, the same dates every year.
Not this year. Sterling says most of his Canadian customers have canceled, fed up with President Donald Trump's antagonistic rhetoric toward Canada. There's the threat of tariffs, too, and lately Trump has suggested redrawing the border between the two countries.
It's affecting at least 90% of my business.
Are you saying you've had 90% of your business canceled this year?
Easily.
Point of View Inn?
During our visit, yet another Canadian called to cancel.
Listen, monsieur, you don't need to explain anymore.
This is every registration card from last year. This is the Canadian. That's my American. This just went away.
That's all you got now. That doesn't pay the bills.
Does not.
Best of my ability.
For Sterling Morse, it all snowballed shortly after Donald Trump's inauguration.
All of a sudden, an email pops up. It's almost like, your phone, ding, ding, slow ding. And people that have been here for 35, 40 years, you recognize that number. And it's like, I know why they're calling. And the anger is, in my eyes, incredibly justified.
Here in Old Orchard Beach, roughly 40% of the tourists come from Canada, according to the Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber's executive director told us that those tourists make up about 30 to 40% of the revenue for many of the businesses here.
I think we're still kind of seeing how many different industries this impacts. It doesn't just impact tourism, of course.
Over at the Alouette Beach Resort, owner Fred Kennedy hasn't seen a cancellation yet, but he's heard an earful from his Canadian customers. What are they telling you?
Well, their feelings are basically hurt. They don't like to be referred to as the 51st state, and they feel that they just want to express themselves and in sort of a nationalistic way. As a innkeeper, hotelier, I'm concerned with losing any guests. I'm sort of cautiously optimistic that things will resolve themselves as time goes on.
Old Orchard Beach
Trump
is a
supporter.
seasonal town, so businesses have about 12 to 15 weeks to make their money for the entire year. Back at the Point of View Inn, Sterling Morse doesn't see any way he can make up that lost revenue this season.
You got to start thinking about the end game. The end game of 50 years of tradition, to be honest, yeah.
Like you would consider closing down, selling?
There may be no choice.
Sterling Morse, the inn owner who says
we don't, this is we're going to see a lot of this.
Yeah. I mean,
Great again. We're so great.
Well, the good news is short lines at Disney World. Don't have to worry about waiting in line.
They're French Canadian too. They're not even normal Canadian.
Come on.
I mean, and it's just immigration. There's been studies on this. It helps the economy, and then there's like areas where it's more acute, like.
And the research that says it hurts local like low wage employees is one, not very clear in the signal that is drawn by people at all, and two, can be mitigated.
Taking American jobs.
If you want to help workers, there are things you can do
Right.
that neither party really wants to do, but one party definitely doesn't want to do.
But tourism obviously also helps the economy. like let's be real, that's a big part of it too, and especially for areas like that. Not you're a New Englander, but those Maine beaches, they're historic and they have like a lot of beautiful areas. It's a shame. It's
Better
a
start
shame.
cutting down trees to make up that money.
They're sweet.
Portland, Maine, one of the cutest cities in the country.
Well, Portland is way down south.
Okay, I'm so sorry.
Old Orchard's way up there. And then,
That was all
it's no
Massachusetts
Bar
back
Harbor.
in the day.
What?
That was all those states were Massachusetts
Yeah.
back in the day.
Well, that's why I still consider them Massachusetts. I don't recognize.
They're ripping us
I
off.
don't recognize the state of Maine. I'd
Massachusetts would be
rename them.
Texasized.
Trade war between Massachusetts and Maine.
Northeast Massachusetts, Central North Massachusetts, Central West Massachusetts, then regular Massachusetts, and then we would take over Rhode Island and would barely even notice it.
The Mathers never should have gave up those states.
It was a huge mistake. That is one of the things that we're going to do. Take back over what was ours.
It's like people who like lament the fall of the USSR, but it's the fall of Greater Massachusetts.
Connecticut can keep Connecticut.
They can.
We don't need them. We'll take everything else, though. All right, couple IMs. We got to get out of here. We got a lot of clips we'll get to tomorrow.
Oh, thank you, IMers, for correcting Sam that Old Orchard is south of Portland.
Old Orchard is not
Faced.
South Portland. What?
Oh!
No, it ain't. No, it ain't. Hold on. Hold on. Let's deal with this. This is important.
This is really important. Old Orchard, Maine. Yeah.
Oh, wait a second. I was thinking of Portsmouth. Oh, shit. Yep. Just south of Portland. Oh, God. Never mind. Whatever.
Live from the Polymorph.
It doesn't matter. They switched it since they took it away from Massachusetts. That was the problem. Oh, God.
You were looking at the map upside down.
No, I was thinking of Portsmouth. I got confused. The Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Listen, once you go north of Fitchburg, everything is just like north of Fitchburg. It doesn't matter. Once you're out of like the central Massachusetts, it all goes to hell. Another day, another Trump attack on basic freedoms. This time targeting Palestinian activist and green card holder Mahmoud Khalil, who helped lead the Columbia University protests. But if you go to ground.news/majority, you're going to see how some outlets paint him as a radical threat, while others call out Trump's crackdown on dissent. The story hasn't changed, but the way it's told completely changes your perspective. The exact problem our partners at Ground News solve. If you like my show, you'll love how their app and website let you compare coverage from across the spectrum with context on how political bias, financial incentives, and even blind spots shape the narrative. Especially with so much of our media being driven by billionaire and political agendas, propaganda has become one of the most powerful weapons today. But Ground News is independent and nonpartisan, only committed to helping us think critically on the news, shaping everything from public opinion to policy. And since I can't cover every single attack on our rights, I've curated feeds that track key issues and trusted sources. This way, I know I'm bringing my viewers reliable information. Go to ground.news/majority or scan my QR code to see it in action for yourself. Because this story is bigger than just one activist being detained. It's about how media bias controls what you see and think. My viewers get the same unlimited access Vantage plan that I use for nearly half the cost, knocking the price down to just $5 a month. Hey folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.